Go to business AS level, chapter 15, recruitment, selection, and training. So when I talk about recruitment, we're talking about employing workers for a vacant position. That means there's a vacant position that needs to be filled. That is why recruitment will take place.
Yes.
So let's go down and see. Recruitment. When businesses hire new employees, they need to attract and appoint the best people. Those with the right skills and appropriate experience. This is called recruitment and selection. So to employees, when you are hiring as a business, when you are hiring, you just don't hire, you hire the best people who are qualified to fit in that position that is vacant.
Yes.
That is what recruitment is. So a lot of people will come, you choose from them to fit in the position, to fill in that gap. That is what selection is about. Looking out for that individual that will fit in the position, that is recruitment. Selecting, choosing the best person for the position, that is selection. Getting it, you get it, right?
Yes.
So in a very small business, recruitment might be undertaken informally, a chat between a business owner and someone who is searching for a job. In a large business, the human resources department is likely to be responsible for employing staff, following a lengthy formal recruitment process. So for a small business, the owner might just sit down with the person looking for a job, and after a few time of conversation, the job is done. Because it's a small business. Unlike a large business, for a large business, it has to go through recruitment and selection process. And the human resources department is saddled with the responsibility of carrying out recruitment.
Yes.
So they said, for formal recruitment process as explained, the business may need new staff because, so what are the reasons why we need to employ a new worker or a new staff? One, the business is expanding and more labor is needed. If the business is expanding its operations, so that means it might need more workers.
Okay.
There's a need for recruitment.
Yes.
People are leaving and they need to be replaced. You might employ people because those ones that are there are leaving. There's a vacant position there. Three, positions that have become vacant due to promotion. Some of your existing workers have been promoted, leaving behind certain position that has to be filled up. Okay. That's another reason for recruitment. People are required for a given period to cover temporary staff absence due to maternity or paternity leave. So you might need a temporary worker because your existing workers or some of your existing workers are, maybe in paternity or maternity leave. Maybe they just give birth and they have to spend some time at home.
Yes.
So you might need a temporary worker for that. So these are the reasons why we need, or we might, if a business might be recruiting workers. I think it's clear.
Yeah.
So we'll go to stages now, stages in the recruitment and selection process. I'm just going to explain the stage, each one at a time.
Yeah.
So the first stage of recruitment and selection is identifying the type and number of staff needed. So there's a vacant position.
Yes.
As soon as there's a vacant position, it means, we need 4 or 5, there are 4 or 5 positions vacant. So we have identified those positions. That's the first stage. So as soon as we identify, so we need 5 workers for this position. That is what identifying the type and number of staff needed. We need 5 workers. We need 2 accountants. We need 2 business person or sales person, or we need 1 logistic person. So we identify that there's a vacant position, which has to be filled by certain individuals. That's the first thing. Then prepare job description and person specification. So the person that is going to take up this position, what is his role or her role? What is his responsibility or responsibility? That is job description. Then person specification. What is the requirements needed? What are the skills needed to fill that position, to fill up that, to do that task? What is the qualification, the skills needed? Whatever the person needs to qualify for that position is the person specification. I think it's clear. The third one is advertise the job using appropriate media. So you have to, before you advertise, you have to understand if it is internal recruitment or external. So if it is internal recruitment, then you don't have to use media. But if it is external, because it's internal, you can use memorandum of send SMS, or use email within the office.
Yes.
But if it is external, then you have to think about the kind of media you want to use. Do you want to use newspaper, national newspaper, or local newspaper, or mass or television, or social media? You have to think about that if it is external.
Yes.
Then the next one is carry out interviews. As soon as you make, the next one is evaluate applicants and select a short list for interview. As soon as you make advertisements, a lot of potential employees what do we call them? Job seekers. They will apply.
Yes.
Job applicants will apply. So they apply for this job. As soon as they apply, you have a lot of you have a lot of application forms with you. So from that application forms, you evaluate the applicants and select a shortlist for interview. So maybe 100 people have applied. 100 people have applied. So out of these 100 people that have applied, maybe you need just 20 that you feel that their CV is fine. Then you call them for interview.
Yes.
So why do you call them for interview? To confirm that the CV they have with them is in line. They are the ones that they are capable with the CV they have. So you see the CV, but sometimes the CV can look like a lion, and the interviewee is just like a dog. So you want to confirm the CV with the person you want with the applicant in person. That's why you have to call them for shortlist, which is interview. Then as soon as you have called them for as soon as they have been shortlisted for interview, the next stage is to carry out the interviews. So this means that the interviewer will have to meet the interviewee, which is the applicant.
Yes.
As soon as that is done, as soon as the interviews are done, then you have to evaluate the interviewees to see if they fit in according to what the requirement of the job is.
Yes.
And as soon as that is done, you make appointments for them.
Yes.
You give them the job if they are qualified. And those that are not qualified, you send a message to them to let them understand that they did not succeed.
Yes.
So these are all recruitment process. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
I explained everything anyway.
Yeah.
So job description now, right? Job description, the responsibility, the duties, the task that has to be performed. I explained it already.
Yeah.
Person specification, the qualification needed. I explained that.
Yes.
You scroll down, please. Yes. So go to types of recruitment now. Internal and external recruitment. Internal recruitment is recruitment from within the business. An employee may be choosing to be offered post, or the business may advertise internally, asking employees to apply for the vacancy. The advertisement may be sent around via email and posted on a notice board, like a memo. Large organizations may have regular newsletters devoted to internal vacancies or notices, may be put in the company magazines or on the company website. Internal recruitment has a number of advantages compared to external recruitment. So we call it internal recruitment because it's within, that means the business is employing workers within the business.
Yeah.
So what are the advantages of internal recruitment? It is often cheaper because no adverts have to be placed and paid for at commercial rates. So you don't pay for advertisement. So that's why it's cheaper. Two, internal recruits might already be familiar with the procedures and working environment of the business. They may therefore need less induction training and be more productive in their first year of employment. Whoever is being appointed knows the business well and knows the practices of the business. So there's no need for introduction. The third one, the qualities and abilities and potentials of the candidates should be better known to the employer. It is often difficult to predict exactly how an external recruit will perform in a particular work environment. Here, we're talking about the employer knowing the employee very well too. So you know the employee, the employer knows you. The second one is the employee knows the company environment well. The third one is that the employer knows the employee very well. So there won't be problems predicting what he or she can do.
Yeah.
The fourth one, regular internal recruitment can motivate staff. They might see a career progression with their employer, even for those who are not seeking a promotion. Internal recruitment suggests that the employer is looking after existing staff. So internal recruitment is a signal that the company, the employers, put into consideration the welfare of their employee. And as soon as they do well, they'll be promoted.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
External recruitment. External recruitment is when someone is appointed from outside the business. External recruitment has two main advantages over internal recruitment. One, the employer may want someone with different ideas to those already working in the business. Bringing in the experience of working in different organizations can often be helpful, keeping the business more competitive. So the first advantage about recruiting external workers is that the external recruit might be coming with a different experience than the ones that you have with your existing employees.
Yes.
So, and that brings a fresh idea into the business, and that might make the business be more competitive.
Yes.
So, external recruitment might attract a larger number of applicants than internal recruitment. The employer then has more choice of whom to appoint. If it is external recruitment, a lot of applicants will be there. Then you can choose the best among the rest. Yes. External recruitment requires the employer to communicate with potential employees. Ideally, every person who is suitable and who might consider the job should apply. That way, the employer will have the maximum number of candidates from which to choose. There are numbers of ways in which an employer can do this. So we are going to go to ways in which external recruitment can occur. Ways in which we can use external recruitment. One, the word of mouth. For word of mouth, it's a common method of hearing about a job is through word of mouth. This means the person hearing about a job from someone else, often someone who works in the place of employment. So for word of mouth, it means maybe one of the employees who knows that, oh, the company or their company needs employees, would discuss this with other friends.
Yes.
And they might be able to get the job there.
Yeah.
Direct application. Many job seekers send their details to employers from whom they would like to work just in case they have a vacancy. Sometimes you just randomly send your CV to companies, and as soon as they have a vacant position that suits your skills and qualification, they will call you up. That's the direct application.
Okay.
Advertising. That means you get it through maybe mass media or national newspaper or the rest.
Yeah.
Private employment agencies. The business may employ a private employment agency to find candidates. So private employment agencies are probably best known for finding employed workers. However, many also specialize in finding permanent staff. At top end of the range, private employees agencies tend to call themselves executive agencies. They specialize in recruiting company executives and finding jobs for executives seeking a change or who have been made redundant. For private agencies, they are agencies. They are in between the companies and those that are seeking for employment. So the companies would only tell them that, oh, we need specific group of people. We need specific group of people for certain position. So please help us. Or in case you have, just let us direct them to us.
Talk about outsourcing. Outsourcing.
Well,
Example.
this is
an example of outsourcing.
It could be an example of outsourcing anyway. Yeah, it's an example of outsourcing. Then there's head hunting. For head hunting, they don't use head hunting like that. They use head hunting when it comes to executive positions. Yeah, you try, yeah, executive positions, not specialists. Okay. Executive positions like managing director of a company. Okay. So these are not, there are few people that can be managing directors. So you just try to find the best fit for your company. Yes. Maybe from your competitors. Try to talk to, yeah, that's what head hunting is about. You find, you seek for the best that could fit in that position. For top positions.
That's choices to get from competitors.
Yeah, so that's what head hunting is about. Job centers. Here, you can advertise your product, you can advertise for vacancy. There are websites, there are job centers that each company would place the advertisement on. And anybody that is seeking for employment would go to the website to see the company that needs employees. Yes. Government funded training schemes. Some businesses take on trainees from government funded training schemes. In some countries, for example. Okay, well, let me just explain instead of reading the stories here. Okay. For government training schemes, here, government will train these workers. Government train them. And if employers need them, they go through these government parastatals to recruit. So government will train these people. Okay. They stay with the government. Government has trained them, has equipped them. So if you need employees that fit in through those government schemes, you go there and employ them. You are not the one in charge of the training. Government has trained them. Yes. So they are there through government funds. Mm-hmm. They are trained, they are employable. Yes. So it's for the businesses or employers to go through those firms or through those schemes to see if they fit in for their vacant position. Yes. Cost of recruitment and selection, right? For cost of recruitment and selection, so here, they said at this stage in recruitment process, shown in figure 1, a business will incur costs. This cost can be significant and underlines the importance of employing an effective recruitment process to attract and retain high quality staff. So when we talk about cost of recruitment and selection, we're talking about each stage and what is the cost for each stage of recruitment and selection. So we start with the first stage, which is recruitment and selection costs. Costs are incurred throughout the whole recruitment and selection process. 1, the human resources department will incur costs when identifying the number and type of staff required. For a single post, the cost might be quite small. But if, for example, a chain store is opening a new branch and requires, say, 80 new recruits, the task is significant and will require more time and planning. So the point is this: the number of workers you want to employ will determine the amount of cost you incur. Yes. So if you are recruiting few numbers of workers, the cost will be less. The planning will not be so much. But if you are recruiting large numbers of workers, you need to plan, and that take time. and you have to spend money for that.
Yeah.
That's for the one.
Mm.
That's for the human resources department. Then for administrative costs. Some administrative costs will be incurred when checking and updating job descriptions and placing specification. These costs will be higher if the nature of the job have changed or if the jobs are newly created. So for administrative costs, because you have to put into consideration, you have to update the person specification and the job description. So if the job description has been changed to what was there before, that means you have to update it. And if the kind of people you need has changed, you have to also update that. So that means you incur cost in changing these things. That's for administrative cost.
Yes.
Jobs will have to be advertised. Then you have to spend on advertisement if it is external recruitment.
Yeah.
Time will be spent handling and sorting applications. So a lot of candidates will apply, thousands of candidates. So you have to you have to select the ones that you will call for interview. You have to select the ones that will be shortlisted for interview. So it takes time.
Even interview takes time. So,
Yeah, but the interview is not, the interview takes time, but it's not going to take time like when you have to sort applications. Thousands of people will apply. The interviewing process can also be expensive for a business. It is likely to involve some highly paid senior staff. While these people are involved in the interview process, they are not undertaking their normal tasks. This can have its financial impact. Some businesses use 2 or even 3 rounds of interviews when selecting staff. Interviews can require candidates to sit tests or undertake personality assessments. These activities will also incur cost. Documents need to be photocopied and circulated, rooms booked, interviewees welcomed and briefed, refreshments provided, and interview staff coordinated. When you have to interview workers, when you have to interview interviewees, it takes time.
yes.
You have to organize them, you have to coordinate things, you have to pay extra for those staff that will take part in that, the interviewer. And in the course of doing this, they might even have to leave their jobs to partake in this process. As a result of that, you might need to give extra pay to those who will be representing them. What? Yeah, not the interviewee here. Those that will be representing, the interviewers are going to be experienced staff.
Okay.
So that means they might be leaving their job, their normal day routine.
Okay.
So you might need to fill that position that will be left behind, and that is also cost incurred. Is it clear? And those that are coming for interviews too, they have refreshment. You have to pay for all these things too. After the interviews have taken place, the performance of interviewees will have to be evaluated. The more people involved in the interview process, the higher the cost. Finally, the selection is made. Unsuccessful candidates are given feedback, and successful candidates receive a formal job offer. There may be some official procedures to complete, which might also add to cost. At the end of the interviews, you select the ones that are best. The ones that are not capable will be reach out to tell them that they are not successful. They should try the next time. So in the course of doing this, those that have gotten the job, you have to make procedures too. You have to finalize their procedures of employment, and that also takes time. Sometimes the new person recruited will negotiate a higher salary or better benefit than the outgoing person they are replacing, again adding to the business cost. So the new employee might be asking for more than what the former employee was asking for. So that will take time and it will incur more cost. Another cost is training. Costs can be so high that businesses can be reluctant to invest heavily in training. Some training costs are essential and have to be met by a business. So training is also expensive, and firms or businesses, they might feel reluctant in taking through training. So there are some costs that has to be incurred during the training process. One, training costs and other resources. Businesses will have to pay training providers, that's the trainers, if they use external training. Even internal training can be expensive if specialist training staff and equipment is needed. So there's always training costs and equipment or material resources that will be needed for training. Yes. It's a cost that has to be spent on, that have to be paid. Loss of output. If it is external, some workers might not be available during the working process. So that means they won't be working because they are going through training. Loss of output is a cost too. Yeah. Employees leaving. Businesses are likely to get very frustrated if employees leave and join a rival company after they have invested in training them. So you train them. One of the reasons why employers do not want to train employees is that they can leave at any point in time. And when they've been trained, they become attractive to your competitors, and you might lose them. Is it clear? Yes. Training itself. Training is the process of increasing the knowledge and skills of workers so that they are better able to perform their jobs. The objective of training differ from business to business, but they include, so for training, it means that you want to improve the skills and knowledge of employees.
Yes.
And as a result, they have to go through certain routine to get that done. So this is what training will do. So what are the importance of training? One, making workers more productive by teaching them more effective ways of working. So it makes them to be more effective. So they know how to do things better than how they used to do it. Do you get it or not?
Yeah.
Two, giving workers the skills they need to use new equipment or technology. This is maybe through induction. So to know how to use new things, new technology. Educating workers in new methods of working, such as shifting from production line methods to self methods. So in case the business wants to change from one production method to another, you have to train workers to know how to use this method.
Yes.
And this always happens when you start thinking about reducing wastage or finding effective way of doing things.
Making the worker flexible.
Flexibility.
Flexibility. Working there.
No. Training improves flexibility too, brings flexibility. But here we're talking about production methods. When you talk about production method, it's basically on how to reduce wastage. How to reduce wastage. So you have to train your workers on those process. That's the point they're making there.
Okay, yeah. The next one is
okay. So making workers more flexible so that they are able to do more than one job role. That's flexibility. Preparing workers to move into a different job role within the business, which could be a new job at a similar level or a promotion. So sometimes training happens because that worker is being promoted. So he needs to know or she needs to know how to do new things. Improving standard of work in order to improve quality. So when you train your workers, it improves how they carry out their task. Quality might improve. Implementing health and safety at work policies. You might train them because of health and safety rules. Assisting in increasing job satisfaction and motivation, because training should help workers feel more confident in what they are doing and they should gain self-esteem. When they are being trained, they feel valued. And because they feel valued, they become happy. And that could increase their motivation.
Yeah.
That's job satisfaction. Assisting in recruiting and retaining high-quality staff attracted by the quality of trade offered. So when you train your workers, it means that they would know more and they could help you to employ or train new workers that are coming after them. Because they are being trained, they know more.
Yeah.
Types of training. We have induction. And when we talk about induction training, this is a training that is designed for new recruits. As soon as you are being employed newly, you have to be introduced to the working environment, the equipment used, the machinery used, your subordinates or your supervisors, your managers. You have to know these people. This introduction is called induction.
Yeah.
I think it's clear.
Yeah.
We have on-the-job training. For on-the-job training, we're talking about training given at the workplace. So you are being trained while at work. That is on-the-job training. So examples of on-the-job training or how on-the-job training could go is one, learning from other workers. Yeah, that means you learn from your subordinates or people that are working around you. You learn from them, especially those ones that are very experienced.
Yeah.
Two, mentoring. Here, you'll be stationed with someone who has idea, then you try to see what he does or what she does. Then it becomes who you can always call upon to when you don't understand. So he mentors you or she mentors you.
Okay.
The third one, job rotation. That means you go from one department to another.
Yeah.
Traditional apprenticeship. Here, before you start the job, you have learned how to do the job before you become a full employee. So that's what we call apprenticeship.
Okay.
You learn the job, then for a few period of time, then you become an expert. They use this mostly for crafts, like a barber, a tailor. You learn for some years, then you become an expert.
Yes.
Graduate training, GT, we call them GT. These are programs that are meant for graduates. They are just they just in their university. So they go through these training schemes. And as soon as they've gone through this training scheme, based on their career path, then they become employable for employers.
Okay.
Oh, you're a lawyer, you practice law, maybe through the bar and the West, then you could get a job from them. Is it clear or not?
Yes.
What are the advantages of on-the-job training? One, output is produced. Because you are at work, you'll be producing. Though it might not be so much, but at least you are doing something.
Yeah.
Two, relevant because trainees learn by actually doing the job. It is relevant to what you will actually be doing.
Yeah.
Cheaper than other forms of training. It is more cheaper because you are using your workers to get the training done than
Okay.
using external bodies or firms or businesses.
Yes.
Or trainers. Can be easy to organize. Yeah, because it's within your company. So
Okay.
you can always you can coordinate it as soon as possible. The problems about it, one, output may be lost if workers make mistakes. But if in the course of doing their job, doing the on-the-job training and you make mistake, then output might be lost.
Yeah.
That means you have to start again. It may be stressful for the workers, particularly if working with others. Some people do not feel comfortable working with other people. They want to concentrate on their job and do it.
Yes.
But if they have to train others, they might not feel comfortable about that. And as a result, they might get stressed.
Yes.
Trainers may get frustrated if they are unpaid trainers. Companies might give them the work to do without paying them. They might not be happy with that.
Yes.
Could be danger to others. Could be a danger to others, especially for, if you have to practice, especially for the surgeons, when you have to practice while at work, you are still being trained and you want to use someone as a practical, it could lead to death.
It ends up
Someone's life.
yeah.
Off-the-job training, for off-the-job training, it means that you are being trained while outside the premises of the company.
Yes.
So what are the advantages of off-the-job training? One, output is not affected if mistakes are made. So if there's mistake, it will be outside the company, so it's not going to affect anything.
Yeah.
So workers' learning cannot be distracted by work. So here you concentrate fully in the training. So you are not working, you're not doing anything except for that training. So you have to concentrate more. You concentrate more. Training could take place outside work hours if necessary. So another advantage is that you could arrange the training after work environment, maybe on Saturdays or after work days.
Yes. After
work period. So that means it's not going to affect work. Customers and others are not put at risk. It does not involve anybody. So it's just training. So nobody's life is at risk. Yes. The problem about it is that one, no output because employees do not contribute to work. You will be paying them, but they are not at work. Some of the job training is expensive if provided by specialists. It's always expensive because it's carried out by other businesses. Some aspect of work cannot be taught off the job because you need practicals too. And companies might not want to expose their operational practice to businesses. So you might not be able to get some aspect of the work through off the job training. Trainees may feel that some of the training is not relevant to them. You might have known some of the things that you have to learn in the training school. So you might not concentrate because you know it already. Yeah. It might take time to organize because you're not the only one dealing with those companies. Other companies are dealing with them too. You might not get the time you wanted. Yes. Is it clear? Yeah. Benefits of training. Are you there? Yeah. Although it is expensive, a number of stakeholders will benefit from training. One, managers. Managers will benefit because workers may be better motivated and more satisfied. As a result of that, they will be able to carry out your task. Whatever you want them to do, they will be able to do it well. So it is beneficial to managers because they will have employees that knows what they are doing. So their manager's task becomes easier. That is the point they're making there. Do you get it? Yeah. That's for managers. Owners of the businesses will benefit from training if productivity is higher. Because your workers have been trained, they will increase their productivity. That will increase their productivity. Their profitability will increase. This is beneficial to owners of the business. For employees, training makes them to get better. And as a result of that, they become more motivated. They will be happy doing the job. They will be more happy doing the job. They will provide more. And it will also improve their skills and knowledge, which makes them attractive to other employers. And as a result of that, they might even be able to get more pay. That is training to employees. Is it clear? Customers. If employees are trained, the quality of what they give will improve. So that means customers will be expecting better products, better service from these trained employees. Yes. Is it clear? Yeah. They'll be able to enjoy the value for their money. Any question about it? So that ends recruitment, selection, and training. Wow.